Good evening, everybody. Arwen from Evenstar here. Great to be with you, talking today about the power of pain. So I wanted to talk about how we need to look at our pain from the point of view of our whole self, of our whole being, and not just as this physical thing that we need to deal with. So before I get into that, just a very quick plug, something that really helps us access our intuition and delve into these deeper levels of understanding of what is going on with us is the beautiful moon. So you've probably noticed, if you've looked outside at all in the last few nights, it's getting bigger and bigger. Tomorrow night is the full moon, and it's actually a total lunar eclipse as well. So it's a really special and powerful time in astrology. And I am hosting with Vicky K Mind and Body another circle where we are doing yin yoga, meditation and Reiki to mark the full moon and to try and access some inner knowledge and also tapping into the collective consciousness with this particular full moon. So if you can join us then, there's still a couple of spots left, but you'll need to book in really quickly, which is on Vicky's webpage. I'll put a link in the comments. Okay, so the power of pain. So we all do many, many things to ourselves on all levels. Put ourselves through physical, strenuous activity, physical challenges, staying up too late, mental challenges, putting ourselves through hard stuff at work. But the one thing that I think that really does pull people up and make them stop is pain. And that's because that's how it was designed. So through our evolution, pain has been designed miraculously to make us stop. So it's like, I like to think of it like nature's little OHS officer, occupational health and safety officer, saying, hang on a minute, stop what you're doing, you're going to really hurt yourself, and sending you that message through pain. So even when you have an accident, though, I think it's really good to think about the deeper meanings. Why did this happen to you? And if we think of our life as that everything happens for a reason, which I do, then it's even more important to do this. So even something that does seem purely accidental, the way that you have managed to injure yourself, or the way that it came about occurring, then I think it's really important to look into the deeper meanings of that. So I had an experience of this myself recently. So many people probably know that I moved house about 4 weeks ago, and during that process I managed to drop a really heavy old bookcase on my left foot. And it was extremely painful, but it happened really early. So I had 2 moves in 1 week, and it happened really early in the morning of my first move. So I literally did not have any time to do much about it. Put a bit of ice on it straight away, and then really had to just keep going, which is obviously something that I'm always telling my clients not to do, that, you know, this is a message to stop, but I literally could not do that in this week of moving. So the pain did not go away. It was actually really intense. I couldn't I could still walk, so that was good, but I couldn't put most of my shoes on because the top of my foot was actually really swollen and extremely sensitive, and terrible bruise for a little while after a couple of days. So after about 10 days, it was still really bad, and I thought, well, I better go and get an x-ray because I don't want to have a broken bone that I don't, you know, that something's out of alignment, and, you know, then I have problems for years to come because I haven't checked it out, even though my intuition told me that nothing was broken. So I went and had the x-ray, and luckily I was right. There weren't any bones broken. So that made me really think, I've got to delve into this. I've got to think to myself, why did this happen to me? So this was my left foot. What do our feet do? They carry us forward every day. And our left side is our yin side, our feminine, inward-looking, quieter, less active, you know, the deep, dark side of us. So I thought to myself, okay, well, that makes sense, because I think I need to pay attention to that. I need to stop living my life, and this is especially in my work life, but that's pretty much my whole life in a lot of ways. I need to stop living this life in a way that is by the standards and by standards of success, particularly of other people. I need to start listening to myself and living my own version of success, and also bringing into my life joy, which I think was the last Facebook live I did, all about having fun and bringing joy and play into your life, which, as I said last time, I don't do enough of. So I think this was a real message to do that, and I've gotten a number of messages about this from different sources, not people, that is. So anyway, today I was looking at one of these really great books, The Body is the Barometer of the Soul by Annette, who is one of the many great metaphysical practitioners out there. So I love to look at what she says about things, as well as I'm always going to Louise Hay, as my clients would know, and Yvette Rose as well, who wrote a massive book called Metaphysical Anatomy. But anyway, today I was looking at this for other reasons, to do some other research, and I went, oh, well, let's just have a look what she says about the left foot, and exactly in the area where I still have a lump on my foot, however, a lot less painful for anybody who cares out there. So it's all about, it's kind of between two things: balancing your life by sharing always from your true feelings, and know that you can support yourself with devotion. So back yourself by being devoted to yourself first, which is exactly what I thought to myself anyway. And then the other little areas, so because there's lots of little bones in your foot, and the other little area was oneness needs no competition, raising one's consciousness, which I thought was a bit complicated, but then her little note there is, to spiritually grow in consciousness, you need to be at one with yourself and others. So again, exactly what, my intuitive but not very descriptive understanding of why I had this injury was. Anyway, so we need to think of ourselves as not just a body. We are not just a body. In fact, in some opinions, we are a soul that has a body. So we need to be looking at pain on all levels, all energetic levels. So we often think of pain just as a physical thing, but I'm sure we can all recall feeling pain as a result of an emotional thing. So heartbreak is a great one for that. So we can all recall a time when we've had sadness and grief or heartbreak, and you can actually feel that in your heart area. And the same thing goes as well the other way around, that emotional stuff can actually then cause physical pain as well, and physical pain can cause emotional pain. So in fact, if you have a chronic pain, it can actually make changes in your emotional and mental state. So many people who have a chronic pain from injury or illness will then go on to suffer from depression and anxiety and terrible and serious mental health conditions like that as a result of this physical pain. So it's really, really important to think of pain in terms of our whole energetic body, so physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And for this reason as well, probably a lot of people have heard about people who have surgery to do something about pain, and it may go away for a little while, but then it comes back again, even though supposedly the physical reason for the pain is gone. And even in people who've had limbs removed, and then they have this what's called phantom limb pain, that they can still feel the pain even though their leg or arm or whatever it is no longer there. So all bringing us back to looking at pain on a holistic energetic level. So I think, therefore, it makes sense to treat pain with modalities that are going to work on all these levels, and two of my favourites are right up there with that. So, of course, Reiki. So Reiki is an energetic healing modality. I really don't like the word healing, because in fact what we're doing with Reiki is bringing about energetic balance. So we're bringing, or any practitioner or someone who does it on themselves, is bringing about energetic balance so the healing can occur as it naturally does. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves. They're so amazing. So Reiki is going to work on all those energetic levels. So even if you can't, like I did, manage to work out what the underlying emotional causes are for your physical pain, then Reiki is going to work on all those levels anyway. It's going to work on the emotional and spiritual levels, even if you can't articulate it, even if you don't have a conscious understanding of what it is that's going on all levels of your body. So that is why I think it's so amazing with pain. So I have many people who come to me. Most people think of Reiki as something that is a great tool to use for an emotional or a mental situation, and it is. But any of my clients who come to me with, something going on, like, again, we go back to being brokenhearted, or they're just feeling really stressed, or they're completely lacking in motivation, or whatever it is, and I'll always say to them, do you have any physical ailments or aches or pains that you'd like me to deal with as well? And if they do, then I will always do a bit of work on that, always direct a bit of energy to that particular area. And many people are amazed when they get up off that table to find that, in fact, that physical pain has lessened or even gone away. Now, I've certainly have people all the time who come as well because of a particular physical pain. So people with things like bursitis, or, as so many people do, an ongoing back pain or neck pain or hip pain. A particularly notable one was a lady with fibromyalgia who had terrible pain all the time, came in with pain going up to a, level 8 or 9, and, jumped off the table with the pain back down to about a level 4. So it is really beneficial for those physical symptoms of pain, even though you may not think that it would be. And the overall benefit, as I said before, is that it works on all the levels. So Reiki is going to move any stagnant energy around and away. That's how it works. That's how it gets that negative energy out of your system. The other thing then, of course, we aren't all trained in Reiki, unfortunately. Maybe one day it'll be compulsory at school. Sure, I won't live to see that, but so the other tool that I love people to use to take home and use themselves are essential oils. So they are the same in terms of they work on all energetic levels, and all essential oils have a particular emotional journey that they help us to move along. And interestingly, all the essential oils that are recommended as being the best ones to use for pain are oils that help us with moving away from feeling stuck or constrained or controlled. And that is a big issue with pain, is that especially when it's an ongoing chronic pain, that we feel a complete lack of control. And that is a very hard thing to live with as human beings. We like to have control over our lives. So the the essential oils that I would highly recommend, my top pick is rosemary. Which is not one that's necessarily often thought about as being great for killing pain or being analgesic, but that's because it is really good at removing emotional restrictions that we need to have removed to enable us to move forward towards our higher purpose. Okay, other oils are peppermint, and that is one that is a favourite for me, and I use all the time, especially for headache. So my little trick with peppermint is to actually apply it in your mouth if you have a headache. So you put a drop under your tongue and a drop on the roof of your mouth, the soft palate at the back of your mouth, and your headache is going to be gone in a very, very short time. So peppermint is especially good where we need focus. So where you are not sure what that path is, or you're struggling to find it, or you don't know what your underlying emotional cause is, you might want to reach for the peppermint. Fennel is another one, especially where you feel unfulfilled. Ginger, again, not necessarily one that people would think of as being an analgesic oil, but it is, and it's really good, especially where you feel depleted. So especially in that situation where the pain's been going on for a while, or you're feeling out of control, then you might want to reach for the ginger. Lavender is especially good where you're feeling neglected, so where you're not feeling like you can look after yourself, or there's nobody else to look after you, then you might want to go for some lavender. Marjoram, especially where you're feeling anxious as well, which often happens especially when the pain is ongoing, and I certainly was feeling anxious after 10 days of bad pain in my foot. And Roman chamomile, especially where you're being rigid about a change you need to make. So like me, you may be thinking to yourself, yeah, I really know what this message is that I'm receiving from the universe, and I'm really struggling with making that change. So in that case, I need to get out my Roman chamomile, which I have been doing. So with using the oils, as always, you can use them in a diffuser or an oil burner, and you can also use them on a hanky or a tissue. Just put a drop on there to breathe in from there if you don't have a diffuser or a burner, or if you want to have it to carry around with you. And of course, you can also apply the oils topically. You need to be careful if you have sensitive skin, or if you're using them with children, to dilute them with a carrier oil or with sorbeline, and make sure. So you can actually apply the oils on the site where the pain is. So that is a really good thing to do. And the other thing that I really need to mention is that not all of those oils that I mentioned are safe to use during pregnancy. So if you are pregnant, the ones that you can go for are the lavender, the ginger and the Roman chamomile, but don't use the others while you're pregnant, or if you're trying to become pregnant, that you should avoid those others. So I will put comments below with those oils and links to them if you want more information, or if you want to buy them. And I would just urge everybody to really think broadly about any pain that you have, and looking into what the underlying emotional causes are for that pain. And feel free to contact me if you have any questions about that. In the meantime, I hope the rest of your National Pain Week is pain-free, and that you will continue to be well. Bye.